Hey, everybody. Have you heard of disinformation or misinformation? I know I have. And that shit's at an all-time high these days. But maybe something you didn't know. Misinformation and disinformation have been used for thousands of years. One of the first misinformation campaigns was the Crusades. Today, we're going to focus on the Third Crusade. Before Arsuf, there was Acre. And Acre did not fall quietly. Oh, and you're going to hear me pronounce it Acre or Acre. I've heard it pronounced both ways, so I'm using it both ways. If Arsuf is where the army finally snapped, Acre is where its morale started to crack. 2 years of siege, 2 years of rot, disease, starvation, and religious rage. Nobody walked out of Acre clean. Not the Crusaders, not the Muslims, not the civilians caught between them. Acre isn't just walls and towers. It was a pressure cooker. Inside the city, too many people, not enough food, dirty water, bodies rotting wherever they fall. Outside the city, an entire Crusader army living in filth and disease. Dead animals floating in the water. Men dying from infection and dehydration before they ever saw an enemy. Rats everywhere. Flies everywhere. People coughing up blood. Every day, trebuchets throw stones into homes. Every night, people scream as fires run through the wooden houses. Nobody sleeps. Inside Acre, people start eating things you don't want to imagine people eating. Outside Acre, Crusaders are so hungry that when horses die, they get cut up on the spot. Disease spreads uncontrollably. Men wake up healthy and die by afternoon. Arrows carry infection. Water carries parasites. A wound is really just a countdown timer. Eventually the walls fail. Not from one heroic moment, but from being beaten to death for 2 straight years. And when Acre finally breaks open, it isn't a victory. It's a slaughter. Crusaders pour in. Muslim defenders fight room by room. Stairwells become kill zones. Doors become tombs. You don't swing a sword politely in a hallway. You stab, you shove, you kill whoever is in front of you. And behind them, civilians, children, old people, people too slow to run, too poor to leave. Once Acre is finally taken, there's no off switch. The looting starts. The revenge. Executions. Prisoners are taken and then murdered. Thousands of Muslim hostages are killed by Crusaders when negotiations stall. They just lined them up and fucking killed them. Not in the heat of battle. Cold-blooded murder. Because strategy stopped and rage took over. That's not heroism. That's genocide. And the worst part? Both sides believed God approved it. When the fighting finally settles, no one celebrates. They stare at the mess, at the bodies. Victory doesn't feel good. It feels infected. Rotten. The Crusader army should be done. Any sane leader would say we need to consolidate, stop, rest, heal our wounded. Nah. Instead, these motherfuckers are told, pack up. We're heading to Jerusalem. Richard the Lionheart orders the army south. 9 miles a fucking day in armor, in the heat, in the dust. It was fucking agony. Men walk on broken feet. Open wounds cook in the sun. Acre's survivors don't even get a fucking break. They get a road, and that road hates them. Saladin starts hunting them. For 7 straight days, Saladin never lets up. Not once. This isn't normal warfare. This is psychological torture. Cavalry rides in. They shoot arrows, and then they pull back. Again, and again, and again. Day and night. No sleep, no safety. Trumpets blaring at night to keep men awake. Fake attacks, real attacks. Men drop from exhaustion and never rise again. Richard forces the army into a moving square. The ocean on one side, the enemy on the other. There is nowhere to run. Men die standing, marching. And if you collapse, you just disappear under boots and hooves. Not because no one loves you, because stopping would kill everyone. By day 3, half the army isn't even thinking about Jerusalem. They're probably thinking, I'm gonna fucking die on this road. And by day 5, men are begging for battle. Not because they're brave, because death in motion is worse than death in fighting. And by day 7, they're not an army anymore. The Crusaders are not marching toward glory. They're marching toward a breaking point. And that's where Arsuf happens. Not because it was chosen, but because the army finally snapped. Because nobody could take another mile, another arrow, another corpse. Arsuf wasn't strategy. It was psychological collapse. The Battle of Arsuf did not begin with a charge. It began in Acre, when the world ended slowly. And by the time they reached Arsuf, they weren't soldiers. They were survivors walking through hell. On the morning of September 7th, 1191, the Crusaders wake up, battered and bruised. 7 days of harassment did its job. No sleep, no mercy. They line up in a moving formation. Knights on the outside, infantry and supplies on the inside. Ocean on the left, Saladin's army on the right. They march through open ground near Arsuf. There's trees nearby. That matters. Cavalry works better with space. Saladin wants the left flank, and that's where the Hospitallers are. And he goes after them fucking hard. Muslim cavalry rides in fast, fires arrows, and disappears. Again and again. It's annoying. It's painful. It's meant to drive people crazy. No big clash yet. Just constant harassment. The Crusader formation stays tight, but you can see it's wobbling. Richard rides along the line yelling to keep discipline. Do not break! Do not chase!
I'm not scared of dying. I'm scared of falling. If you fall here, you're gone. Nobody picks you up.
Saladin increases the pressure. More riders. Closer passes. Sharper hits. The Hospitallers are taking it. Horses going down. Men dropping. The line is starting to thin. But they're holding. Just barely. Richard still won't let them charge. He knows one bad move can rip the whole army apart.
They tell us to hold. We hold. Then one more arrow hits. Then another brother drops. I stop thinking about orders. I just want it to end.
The Hospitallers break ranks. They're not running away. They're fucking charging. No permission. No warning. Just anger. This is the moment. The battle either completely collapses or flips in the Crusaders' favor. Richard sees it and acts on it. He doesn't argue. He goes all in. Full charge. Full send. Templars forward. Knights surge. Infantry pushes. The entire Crusader army turns into a moving wall of steel. This is not smooth. This is fucking chaos. Horses hit horses. Men go down. Momentum becomes a weapon. The Crusader charge punches straight into Saladin's cavalry. Instead of hit and run, Saladin gets hit with a fucking freight train.
This was supposed to be harassment. Not this. Not all of them. We did not expect this.
Saladin's riders pull back. They regroup and then push again. This part matters. Saladin does not panic. He doesn't collapse. He just reads the battlefield. It's starting to turn into a fucking meat grinder. Saladin orders a retreat. Not in fear. On purpose. The battlefield belongs to Richard. But Saladin keeps his army alive. Which is the real win, long term. The Crusaders hold the ground. They didn't shatter. They didn't run. They didn't die quietly. They broke the psychological siege. That was the real victory. Richard didn't win the war. He won belief. The Crusaders stopped feeling hunted. Saladin stopped feeling untouchable. And the myth cracked. This wasn't fancy. This was not some medieval ballet. This was people shoving metal into people, animals screaming, orders getting lost, and men fighting because stopping meant dying. There was no honor, just momentum. Arsuf wasn't about who was right. It was about who refused to break. Saladin tried to bleed the Crusaders dry. Richard refused to die politely. That's the whole battle. Everything else is decoration. One side won the field. The other kept its army. And nobody won the war. That's it for this episode. Take care. Stay safe. Fuck ice.